Oh, God.
I'm not laughing at you.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes, good morning at 12:43 p.m.
I know.
Did that
Okay,
earlier.
I look like shit because Dan woke me out of this rough and tumble dream I was having.
Let's hear about the dream,
Really?
unless that's a violation of your internal life.
No. It was just a rough and tumble dream.
Oh, rough and tumble. Okay.
I don't think we could put it on YouTube.
Oh, all right.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe
As long as you don't reenact it.
no. Maybe on Pornhub.
Oh.
Anyway.
Oh, wow, really? I got you out of something like that?
Well, I mean, I was wrapping things up,
Oh.
giving out the bus tickets.
Okay. So I'm Dan Carlson, one half of Two Cap Men.
I'm John Kadolf, the other half of Two Cap Men.
And I'm reviewing The Ranger.
No, I'm reviewing The Ranger too. I'm just making waffles at the same time. Oh, I'm supposed to flip this. Why won't it flip? There we go. The Ranger. It's about so we start the movie and we see this little girl and she's with this ranger.
Mm-hmm.
And
he makes her a peanut butter sandwich without the crusts.
Well, he makes her a peanut butter sandwich with the crusts, pulls out the machete to cut the crust off of her sandwich.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
And just the smile.
It wasn't a machete. It was just a large knife.
It was a very large knife. Yeah. It was a Crocodile Dundee knife.
You can say that it's not a knife.
It's not a knife. It's a knife.
It's a knife.
It's not a knife.
Right.
It's a knife.
It's a knife. And then she eats it.
And then she eats it. Yeah, but I had a feeling that wasn't what was really intimidating her, the crusts. But
right. As it turns out, that wasn't.
No, yeah, she was living with her uncle, and in a cabin in the woods,
while spending the summers with him.
Yeah, mm-hmm. And
that does look mighty tasty.
Well, we'll see.
I think you should set up a room in your house that kind of looks like a little bit of a hotel room, like a hotel hallway or something.
So you think it should just be? I should have a waffle room.
Yeah, like a waffle room, have a continental breakfast room.
I could do that too. I mean, I've got a bunch of empty rooms.
Yeah. The Ranger. This is a great throwback to the 80s slasher movies, but with a twist.
A twist.
Yes, the twist being that most of the tropes we've come to associate with 80s slasher movies are kind of thrown out the window a little bit. It's not real meta like Scream or anything, but the rules for who's allowed to survive are kind of different. The people we're asked to relate to are a little more complicated than you would see in a normal slasher movie. It starts in a punk rock club with a girl named Chelsea with a group of friends. She's the little girl that we saw at the beginning of the movie who was staying in the cabin. We get the sense that something traumatic happened there, but we don't quite know what.
Yeah.
And
they were like doing coke and
No, not in the cabin. She was a little girl in the cabin. In the club, they're doing coke. They get a little high, and cops come in. They're going to try to bust them, and something goes south, and a cop is murdered by one of the group. And rather than take it seriously like our main character Chelsea does, most of them are kind of laughing it off. They go up to her cabin for, kind of to get away.
Her cabin.
Her cabin to escape what happened. But rather than treating it like an escape, a place for them to plan their next move, they treat it like a vacation. They're spray painting on the trees, and
Well, everyone but Chelsea.
Everyone but Chelsea. Chelsea's being very respectful of nature, and is generally worried
and the
about
memory of the fact that she and her uncle, that was like a sacred place to them, basically.
Yes, they enjoyed their time together. She genuinely loved him, and whatever happened, which we won't spoil, is hanging over the whole proceedings, kind of.
Oh, are we not spoiling movies now?
I don't know. Are we spoiling this movie? This movie feels like it shouldn't be spoiled.
Okay.
I don't know. We could spoil it, I guess.
No.
Anyway.
Continue on. Yeah.
Anyway, there's a park ranger who assisted Chelsea when she was little, and who they are now going to try.
Do you think that he assisted her?
She believes he assisted her.
I think he assisted her in accidentally shooting her own uncle and sending him over the cliff.
So we are spoiling movies now.
Oh, shit. So
being given a full 80s style release with a novelization and everything.
Yeah.
VHS tapes, all that.
Did it really?
Yeah.
It was released on VHS?
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is the kind of movie that I subscribe to Shudder to see. Exactly the kind of movie I was hoping to watch.
Yeah. It's a good, awesome retro
80s slasher.
Died in the woods slasher serial killer movie.
But different enough to make it worth watching.
Well, not only are they not respectful of the forest, but they're not respectful of her at all.
No.
She basically is saving their ass by allowing them to go to the cabin in the woods owned by her uncle, left to her. Mm-hmm. And
on a national park reserve.
And they're shitting all over her.
And the national park.
Her boyfriend, is saying it's okay to smoke in the living room, for example. And everyone else is like, oh, okay, no, that's okay, no problem. And he's like, fuck that, no, go ahead. If you want to smoke in the living room, smoke in the living room. Mm-hmm. And he lights up, and she's like, what? And she gets up and leaves and goes on a walk.
And runs into the ranger who
down at the river
remembers her
she actually went for a naked swim, and then got out and ran into the ranger.
Yeah,
because he was creeping on her.
He's creeping. He's a little bit creepy. So one of the things that the ranger really does well, and that's why I mentioned authority figures earlier, is that it really plays up to the whole. He's very much about keeping the rules. Any rule that's broken is met with extreme physical torture.
Yes.
Regardless of how small the infraction is.
Yes. He prosecutes with extreme prejudice.
So we have one group who doesn't care about the rules whatsoever, and we have this other guy who cares about the rules way too much.
Yeah.
And in the middle,
two extremes.
In the middle is our main character, who is just trying to get her bearings in the situation.
You have punks and park rangers, and Chelsea in the middle, and
a sitcom. He actually doesn't make wisecracks in the traditional sense. He just literally just reads the rules of the park to them as he's killing them.
Yeah. Literally, he's just citing
citations,
their infractions.
Yes.
Pretty spectacular kills, though, too, I think.
Really bloody.
Yeah, it was. It was really. I thought the special effects, the horror special effects were pretty
gore.
good.
Gore. We call them
gore.
We call it gore. We call it horror
Gore,
special effects.
gore. Okay, gore special effects were pretty good.
Yes, the makeup effects were good.
I thought you said it was gore.
It was makeup gore. It's not horror special effects.
It's gore special effects. Gore horror.
Gore effects.
Gore effects.
Hmm.
What about the Rangers? Oh, well, fuck the Rangers.
So they end up, going to get some help from the Ranger, but when they get into his basement, they see that he's been stockpiling bodies of people who have caused infractions on the
throwing a cigarette butt on the ground.
Yes,
or
they're locked in cages or have their foot chopped off or things like that. And the Ranger has this fun habit of wearing wolf skin while naked and yelling.
Yeah, that was really fucking weird. He's like, at first I thought it was maybe one of his victims who he sewed like a wolf skin or something. And then he turns around and it's him. And I'm like, oh God, what's he going to do?
What I liked about the Ranger, aside from the fact that it really captured, Jesus, that was like a John Carpenter's The Fog moment there. Okay.
Is it really captured?
So it really captured the 80s slasher vibe. I don't know if it actually is set in the 80s, but it definitely feels like it's set.
Yeah, it probably. Yeah, I mean, I felt that it was
they had like the punk rockers had like a boombox.
Yeah, and then the fact that the Rangers
cell phones, as far as I remember,
the Rangers' uniform even looked dated. So.
Oh, okay. And I just love the way they captured the vibe. I like that they kind of made the slasher movie that they would have liked to have seen in the 80s, that has a more inclusive cast and deals with and has a final girl who, if this had been an actual slasher movie from the 80s, this final girl would have been the first one to go because she's the one that did something wrong, kind of.
Yeah. And
there's no doubt that she's guilt, that she has some feelings of guilt and that she did do, she did do something bad, but obviously she was a child and didn't really know what she was doing.
Right.
So,
and I especially like the fact that she bludgeoned him to death with his own binoculars.
Jesus Christ, that was like the bloodiest scene in the movie. just did not stop. I don't know if you ever saw this movie called Irreversible. It's like really nasty.
No,
but there's a scene where a guy just bashes a guy in the face like over and over again with a fire extinguisher until the guy's face doesn't even look like a face anymore.
Yeah.
Kind of reminded me of that, but not quite as disturbing. Kind of, it has a little bit more of a lighter tone, the movie overall, I think.
Yeah.
As violent as it is. The gore is, the gore never leaves the area of being fun. It doesn't veer into hostile territory or anything like that.
Right, yeah. It's not like somebody getting their face peeled off or their eye burned out with a blowtorch.
Right.
But it was a very satisfying film. Fun to watch, visually spectacular, well acted.
Yeah.
The
guy who plays the Ranger is really good.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but he's been in a lot of other things.
Yeah. If you're just subscribing to Shudder, this should be one of the first things you watch to give you the feel of why you should be on Shudder.
I think that this is a good top 5 or first 5 film to watch when you subscribe to Shudder.
So yeah, if you're a gore hound, if you like splatter, if you like
slashers,
well acted movie with surprisingly complex characters for a
slasher
genre movie, I'd say for a slasher film, The Ranger is the way to go.
Yes, I clicked play.
I would also click play. I may actually watch it again fairly soon.
I might too.